gentlemen, we are live at the BBC studios. We are doing an interview with Alex and Aurora. They are survivors of the disaster that happened in the world many years ago. Alex, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. My full name is Alexander, but you can call me Alex. So now I'm an aviation engineering, and my nationality is Vietnam.
And Aurora, can you please introduce yourself?
So I'm Aurora, I'm of interpreter.
And according to our records here, you're married to each other. So, how did you meet?
We met when we at the evacuation point. Yes, at that time.
And what was the scene at the evacuation point?
The crowd was noisy, and because after disaster, they were very worried.
Very good. Right. First question goes to Stephen from the audience, please.
First, I have one question for Alex. How was your military semester at your university?
Can you repeat again the question?
How was your military semester of your university?
Living in the scarcity, the military semester seems like a little different from when it was the ground. According to my experiment, now they have more. The program of training in military now is very improved, and we have a new program for training than we used to be. The reason is now people use the military in the same one military for the whole city, not separate like it used to be. So we have to study a new program from the military organization.
Thank you very much. Our next question from Mark from the audience.
What's up, Aurora? What's your feeling when you first step into the scarcity?
I have a combination of worry and excited because we live in a city which really modernized from the old city. So there are a lot of things that I'm really looking forward to.
Thank you very much. Next question goes to Tony from the audience.
As when the elegant says, the military is in the same one. So, in the conflict between another civic group and another civic group, having have conflicts between them and how we can reach to solve this problem?
According to my experiment, they still have a small conflict between the city group, but that is the small military group that people make and people publish it, not the authorities. So when the conflict occur, the first responsibility is from the government military.
Thank you very much. Next question comes from Charlotte, the audience, please.
What's your feeling when the disaster happened? I'm really nervous and scared to death because I know the scientists have expected for a long time ago, but I couldn't have a preparation to deal with the disaster, so I couldn't do anything, but luckily I was the one of the survivors of the disaster.
Thank you very much. Next from the audience is Kevin, please.
I like to ask you, how was your feeling when you transport to the scarcity?
So I go with my family when we move to the evacuation point. But unfortunately, my city group is full of citizens, so the final decision is my parents have to move to another group.
Can you repeat your question?
How's your feeling when you transport the scarcity?
Can you speak louder?
How's your feeling when you transport to the scarcity?
Really excited. Scarcity was more than the old city, and the electric equipment are modernized and developed day by day. So it's a new journey for me.
Thank you very much. Next question comes from Max from the audience.
When you move to flying cities with the change of the environment and the gravity, what does how does your habit change?
Because the daytime is longer and the nighttime is shorter. So we have to wake up more early than the old habits. And the gravity is lighter, so we can easily move than when we live on the ground.
Thank you very much. Next question goes to Stephen from the audience.
When you live in the sky city, the education was changed. You think many changes of this? What is it? And in the sky city has more exercise.
Because there are not many survivors, so we can only do one school for all grades, and exercise become compulsory to enhance our health, and also we can speak only one language, English, because English is the most important language in the world. And also there are not borders like on the surface, only one surface. So we use the general language and one school for all grades.
From the audience, Mark, next question please.
Alex, do you have any problem when you live a new life?
Of course, everyone have struggle with your real life. For me, when I first get the first touch in scarcity, my body feel lighter than I used to be. The reason is in here the gravity is very weak. So when I jump, the height I get is quite longer or quite higher than it used to be. The second thing is the pressure here is very low, so it's very hard for me to breathe normally than I used to be on the ground.
All right, next question from Shad from the audience.
What do you often do in relation? Can you speak louder? What do you often do in relation? I often read comics, books, and news about the new environments in the scarcity. And also, I'm a big fan of music, so I listen to music.
Very good. Next question from Tony in the audience.
You know, the shortest of place in the sky city is available. So when we will meet Phenomena, which is the shortage of food to supply for many in the sky city.
Can you rephrase the question?
The main phenomenon is the shortage of food to supply to another sky city. This is our main.
I think we can only eat low weight food because the heavy weight food are available here. We can't bring them from the ground to the sky city, so we can eat only berries, seaweed, meat like duck or goose or something else.
Very good. Next from the audience. Kevin, question please.
I'd like to ask us, because you changed into the society, your activities have been changed. So what is the difference between living on the ground and living in the society?
Like I said before, first the pressure here is different and the gravity different, so I can normally do riff in here, so I need something special from my body, and a small shift inside my nose to help me balance my pressure. The second thing is my clothes. As you are seeing that I wear a very different. It is the skydiving that it helped me to balance the gravity as well as to help me can fly. So this could be the main transportation for me at the present.
Right, next question from Stephen from the audience, please.
Some person in the sky city don't live near their relative or their family. How about you? And what you feel when you don't live near your family or relative?
So, just like another person, when I not live near my family, the first feeling is I miss them so much. This is more than 50 years. I haven't have a chance to meet them, and I don't know what is their situation now. But I think that one day when I have a chance, I could try one shot to meet my family.
Right, next question goes to Tony in the audience.
Alex, I know you are an engineer, so when the Kai City used the jet engine, or maybe use the nuclear fusion engine to active, so when the engine will be maybe crack, how do you give the solution to prepare the engine?
We have two types of cracks, according to my knowledge. First is fire cracks, and the second is problem inside the turbine. If the engine being fired, we have a special chemical. I'm not sure about the name, but when the fire occurs, the notification will send immediately to the headquarters in the cockpit, and pilot will know that and we know that and to have a suitable action to prevent the fire. That's the press the button to release the chemical. This chemical can be cool down the engine to not to make the fire spread out and go inside the surface of our scarcity. The second crack is the engine suddenly being stopped. In this case, we have a special equipment called ram and turbines. This like a small fan, when it occurs, it will provide energy from wind, and this energy will spread out to provide the energy for the engine, so that the crash engine can be working normally in amount of time. That's just the solution for the short term. So the engineer should be fine and fit the engine before the situation become awful.
Yeah, right. Next question goes to Charlotte from the audience.
When you often go in your holiday and have to travel to different places, I use my hoverboard to visit my family, and my family is live near my house, so I can easily go and have a holiday with them.
Next question from Kevin in the audience.
Aurora, if the natural disasters occur in the city, what will the government do to protect its citizens?
Can you repeat slowly?
If the natural disasters occur in Sky City, what will the government do to protect its citizens?
So I think this is maybe the local thinking. I think the government will have the solutions for each of the problems. They can have the thing to like protect the citizens and the shield to block the disaster.
Right. Next question from me. What is the food like now living in the Sky City?
There are no McDonald's and pizza or hamburger like on the ground, and we can only eat the lightweight food such as apple, bananas, and broccoli. Something else is small, so it can be able to bring from the ground to the scarcity.
Do you miss eating fast food, Mr. Alex?
So a little, because when being on the ground, I not eat much fast food, but it still give me something special when I eat that. But luckily, I have heard that some scientists are trying to make manual beef. So I think in the near future, the experience of eating fast food could be it could happen again.
Next question from the audience, from Mark, please.
So, are there any protection solutions to prevent the scarcity from extreme weather?
The scientists and the engineers have shared knowledge about this new experimental to protect citizens, and they are in the process to invent the new things to protect the citizens.
Thank you very much. Next question goes to Charlotte, please.
Do we have a amusement park on the Sky City? So I think the engineer are planning to build amusement park in the Sky City, and the amusement park will be open soon in the future. I hope so.
Next question from the audience, from Max, please.
When the flying cities were finished, how can you know when you were on the cruise ship and go to the evacuation?
I'm not understanding your question.
I think actually the Sky Cities have built for a long time because the scientists have predicted about disaster which can happen, including according to the climate change and the global warming, and the ice melting can happen. So they have built to citizens for new locations to live.
Next question from me. Where does the building materials come from to build the city?
I think to repair the scarcity, the material, the government already predict the tragic event will occur, so that the material will be sent from the ground when the tragic event not occur. Then they use the special machine that just like the special machine that could hold the materials, the part of material, so that they can assemble together, and just like assemble an airplane, and so that's what they make the building.
Right, next question from the audience, from Tony.
Maybe from our question, we see because we haven't stayed on the Sky City with a lot of structure of anything. So we will have another solution to create or upgrade the Sky City to have a better life, a better facility on this Sky City.
So scientists have did the research about new invention, the construction for the Sky City. Everyone like they really want to develop the living condition, so there will be more construction of the buildings in the future to service the human life.
Thank you. Next question from Charlotte from the audience.
In the future, when sea level increase every day and we don't have more land to live, do you think the Sky City have enough place for the human?
I think today's the scarcity is limited area, but in the future, the scientists and the engineer will be expand the land for citizens to more space for the scarcity, and we cannot live on the land anymore because all the surface was completely underwater. So the scarcity is the new location for us to live in the future.
Right, next question follows from me. What are the new laws living on the Sky City?
In general, the law is just the same when we live on the ground. With some new law, that government just publishes. One of them is people in the Sky City, citizens, should be aware the skydiving when go outside because the gravity and the pressure is not stable, and we easily to get unbalanced and falling down. So that the skydiving is a requirement for people to go outside. Next thing is the government encourage people in the Sky City use the public transportation. The one is like Aurora says, the land on the Sky City is restricted, so we don't have much space for holding personal transportation, and the only very convenient and suitable transportation is skydiving. So government they encourage people that they should transport by public transportation.
Very good. Our next question goes to Max from the audience.
What do you usually do when you are like off your work?
When I finish my job, the first thing is I return my home just like normal day. I take a shower, prepare for my meal. At night, at the evening, I go around to cool down my mind. That for a hard working day, and then I return to play some musical instrument. And finally, taking the bath, brush my teeth, and go to bed. Finish my day.
Right, next question from me. As I understand it, everyone that lives on the Sky City must experience falling off the Sky City. What was your two reactions when you were pushed off the city and told to fly like a bird?
My first experience is very panic. You know, when we are very 1,000 feet above from land, the only thing is I could die if I can't and use the skydiving. So my hand is shaking like bird, with the hope that I can fly.
So because in the wingsuit haven't had the wings like a bird, so when I see someone falling down, I'm really nervous and really panic. So.
Very good. The last question goes to Kevin.
Does the religions are a little more in sensitive if they have violence?
Of course, religious is the only thing that not being affected when we move to the sky city. We still have the popular religions like the Buddha or Jesus on Western culture. I think the only thing changed about our religions is now we have another way method to believe in our religions. Like we used to go to the church, right? And now that is optional. We have a way to interact online at home, so that we still do that whatever place.
Right, thank you very much for attending our interview. Good luck for the future.